What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic, and we here with another video. It's finally here, the Mega Mexican Showdown between Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. Where do I start? Short bio. Chavez Jr. was supposed to be pretty much what Canelo is right now. Before Canelo was, he was supposed to be that next gen of Mexican superstar boxer. As you see, it didn't work out as much in the beginning. If you look at Chavez earlier tapes, or at him when he was with his father when he was younger, at the Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo fight, he really was a fan and enamored, and he was really motivated to box. He really loved boxing. In the beginning, when he was a smaller fighter, like at welterweight, he early in his career, very young, he was boxing, moving, and then somewhere in his career, he chose to try to fight like his father, and got bigger. You know, growth spurts happen. Put his head down and try to bang it out when he clearly had the ability to be able to be a solid boxer. And that's where the promise came with him being a solid boxer. It seems like he tried to really artificially become a Mexican warrior like his father and put his head down and try to bang to the body and take punches purposely when the punches he didn't have to take to gain that Mexican superstardom. Got knocked out by Fonfora, lost to Sergio Martinez, came in as a cruiserweight and really took Sergio Martinez's prime, or he was already declining at that point, but really took the rest of his prime and wasted it, and really got rid of it with his size. And the worst thing in his career that could happen to him was knocking down Sergio Martinez in the 12th round and figuring that was enough to, be great. Because he was just that close, and they gave him a false sense that he was that close to being great without even having to work hard. And we know how the rest of the story goes. And Canelo Alvarez was always different. He had the golden boy type look with the orange hair, the reddish orange hair. People gravitated to him. So golden boy slowly brought him up through the process as a teenager all the way up, where they stole him from Star Boxing and really had an image and they had a plan for him. And they always tried to hold Canelo back. In the Austin Trout fight, Oscar didn't want him to fight Austin Trout. Wanted him to take a safer route. That was trying to protect their investment and really have him ready for Floyd Mayweather. A lot of fans backed him at the Floyd Mayweather fight as he came up. He was always fighting smaller fighters because he was designed to be a welterweight, but he had a growth spurt like Chavez Jr. He was too big to be a welterweight, so he had to be a junior middleweight, and they nicely moved him up, and there's no issue with that. And they built him up where people thought that he was just vicious Mexican puncher in the style that Chavez Sr. was and the rest of those, Barrera was, those guys was, when actually he was more of a boxer, you know what I mean? And people thought he was going to go in there and rough Floyd Mayweather up like Steele did a couple years, or a lot of years before. But Canelo tried to box with Floyd, and after the Canelo fight, a lot of people put stock in him, and a lot of people didn't like Canelo after that. They kind of turned their back on him and tried to, I'm not talking about the Mexican fans, I'm talking about the U.S. and the U.K. and everybody else, Canadian fans, whoever else there, and they really thought that he was the one to beat Floyd, and after a disappointing performance of most of those guys, they really turned on Canelo. Then everybody hopped on the Triple G bandwagon, and that's where he is. That's his face. But as far as technically breaking down the fight, it depends on what Chavez Jr. does, period, because we know what Canelo's going to do. He's going to fire off the same rhythmic combinations. He's going to really probably use that uppercut if Chavez Jr. chooses to fight like his father and lean in and try to give as good as he takes. Canelo's going to have that uppercut and left hook to the body waiting on him, and that sharp jab. He's always a sharp puncher that punches through the target. He's not one of those guys that punch at the target and pity pass and all that. Canelo's going to commit to the punch. Chavez Jr. and Nacho must know that. With Chavez Jr., does he choose to try to box Canelo and try to then apply pressure at the end of the fight when Canelo tends to not be fresher and tends to use stamina, which he hasn't shown lately? He's shown against Lara. He was able to step it up later in the fight, even though that was at Super Canelo weight. At 164.5, I believe Canelo will be a lot fresher, a lot stronger, more stamina as well. So I don't think that could be an issue unless Chavez Jr. rehydrates a lot. I don't know if they have a rehydration clause because the IBF, which has a rehydration clause with their belt, is not involved in this fight in any way, shape, or fashion. I don't know if the WBC has one. I don't think they do. I never heard of it. So that's something to look out for. If Chavez Jr. rehydrates and then pressures Canelo, it really leans and put his body weight on there and is able to absorb Canelo's punches. Because if he fights the way Chavez Jr. has been fighting up lately, and instead of boxing, Canelo's going to have to pick at his litter at lighting the body up, lighting the head up. And if Chavez Jr. can take those punches and Canelo's power isn't really any difference from junior welterweight or super Canelo weight 155, I think it could be an issue if Chavez Jr. can handle those punches. So I think Canelo, it said he's punching stronger, but I think he should focus on the body. Use the jab to keep Chavez Jr. busy and sneak those left hooks to the body and those body shots in and that uppercut. I think that's very important. And for Chavez Jr. to win, I think it's important for him to box. Try to box Canelo. I think he's capable of boxing Canelo. He has a height to reach advantage. He's capable of using his feet and using his height and length, boxing, using the jab, coming with a straight right, left hook to the body, mixing it up. I think that's key for Chavez Jr. And then down the stretch when Canelo tends to kind of fade, I don't think he's going to fade with the extra weight because he's going to be fully healthy, but he could. If Chavez Jr. sets a good pace and Canelo really punches himself out, because Chavez Jr. is usually an easy target depending on which plan he comes at. Chavez Jr. could wait late, apply pressure then, and try to drain Canelo and try to tire him out in the championship rounds when he tends to fade at junior middleweight if he sets the pace right. I tend to believe that Canelo is going to be able to light Chavez Jr. up with the body shots, and the uppercut is going to be key in the jab. Those are the left hook to the body and the body, whatever body shot he throws for Canelo. The jab and the uppercut, I think, is going to do it. I think Chavez Jr. has too much pride to get knocked out by Canelo in this fight. I think Canelo has too much pride to let Chavez Jr. knock him out. I think we go to the cards, unanimous decision. I think Canelo wins about 4 to 5 points. I give him 4 points. Well, 5 points. I give him a 5-point victory over Chavez Jr. I don't see any knockdowns coming unless it's Chavez Jr. He don't come prepared, or the weight loss was too much for him. But that's just my opinion. Canelo Alvarez with unanimous decision. And we can move on to the Gennady Golovkin talk, and hopefully Golden Boy are men of their word, and make the Golovkin fight happen and stop Golovkin from fighting BGS, Billy Joe Saunders, and held his career up anymore. I'm ready to see the fight. I'm ready to get it over with. For Chavez Jr., I think it's retirement after this, depending if he loses by 5 points like I predict. I'm no Nostradamus, but if he does, I think it's time for retirement. And he tried to give him his all for this fight. He tried to cut weight. It just wasn't good enough, and he's not good enough to cut it. We gone.